I have a tendency not to finish a thought that I'm trying to express. And I watched back my video that I made like before I went to sleep. And I had done that with a thought that I actually would like to communicate. And the thought is people are always asking about, like, is God real? Which religion is real? Like, what's God's will? They're always asking about this idea of a, like a perfectly good, all-powerful being that created the world. And people are giving a lot of attention to that question. Not attention, attention. And then I was trying to say about what people really need to actually, what makes sense for people to think about, that they basically never do think about or give attention to, is from all is that you do actually live in a world that has obstacles in front of you all the time that are not just cute little Mario video game style obstacles. They're like huge, terrible, painful, terrifying things. And for some reason, people never like switch their focus from like what's God, and like what God is like, and like I wonder, and like da da da, to like wait a second, like something's like destroying me back here. Do you know what I mean? It's like I wonder what God is like, and like God. It's like right, reality right here though. Like there's forces that are like destroying you. Like maybe you should study them, not because you're trying to be a downer, or because you're trying to be pessimistic, or because you're trying to be like angry and like screwing God. Like no, like I just literally mean like God isn't happening, although you're giving all your attention to it. It's not happening for everyone universally, and that's not God. Does that make sense? If some people have the experience of their prayers being answered, but other people who are as human as they are not having their prayers answered, that's not a universal God. Something is happening. And for those people, it's the experience of I prayed, I interacted with God to the best of my ability, and I received a resolution of whatever I was praying about. Other people do the same thing and they do not get a resolution to their situation. And it's like the effect is not an equal outcome, therefore, it is not God, by the definition that people give that word. Something is happening. Something is happening for the people for whom like the prayer worked. But for the ones for whom prayer didn't work, you can't just be like, you didn't do it right. And Prophet Lovi has all these videos. I was like, am I like being harsh on him or something? He has all these videos that are like from his channel, not from channels that are like, like highlights of his like performances, or like his like services, or like his like moments of speaking. Like from his actual channel, but it'll be titled something that sounds kind of like too much, and I'm like, sir, like you have an entire auditorium of people like writhing on the floor, screaming because you're like exorcising demons out of them. I'm not really sure how to like address anything that I have as an objection at you, because I feel like, where are you and where am I? Like you're doing just fine, and I'm over here just like not doing fine, and so I feel like I have no power, right? In relationship, in comparison. There we go. In comparison to that man, but it's like you're the only thing that can drag me to like. I'm not saying this as a prayer or as a I hope you do. I'm just saying like you're the only Christian thing that has like an event, a phenomenon that has gotten my attention, because I'm like, well, if you're doing miracles, then I'm like, I can't ignore it. Do you know what I mean? If you're doing it from the place of like thinking about God means this, I don't observe that in my life or in the lives of tons of people, God must not exist, then that's easy, because it's like, well, it just doesn't exist. Like I don't have to get confused. But if I'm looking at someone who's like in the name of Jesus, and all these people are like getting out of wheelchairs and something else is happening, there was like one of like a little boy who like couldn't see, who started to see. I'm like, did that happen? Like, did that actually happen? Like I have no way to like be there and be like, is the child seeing? I don't know what I'm looking at. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like is this like because yesterday there was this video from this one account that's like a guy reacting to like bizarre videos online or like like maybe like whatever, and he literally like showed like a preacher, Peter Popoff, who was like doing like you know ministry and like performing miracles or something, and he was like a psychic preacher, because like Lovi is like a psychic preacher. He calls himself prophet. He calls it deliverance, but it's like prophet. You're a psychic pastor of a Christian faith because you know things about people that you can't know, you know, and then you do miracles to them, like the physical. But then I'm like, yes, but I've also heard of like, hold on, I'm not continuing my thoughts. The Peter Popoff guy was found out to be a fake because he used to wear an earpiece where his wife was like feeding him information about the people that he was talking to in the crowd, because he wouldn't choose them randomly. He would choose them on purpose. And I'm like, I don't think I saw an earpiece in Prophet Lovi's ears, but like, and like, it's not really about the details. It's about the fact that like there's a precedent for like a psychic pastor who turned out to be a fake. I feel like Prophet Lovi isn't that like bold of a liar to do that to all those people. But it's just like the idea is there, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Maybe you're just like a. So this is the thing I wanted to mention. Like I once saw like there's these guys, Bruce Lipton. He's this like biologist who started to believe in like the spiritual nature of life. Then there's this other guy, kinesiologist. I think his name is Robert Williams. And because I'm searching for the truth my whole life, and I'm trying to understand the invisible realm, because to me it always seemed obvious that the only way that I'm going to overcome the like there's a really good phrase, but it's in another language. So let me try to like translate it. Something that is a like prohibited. The only way that like I'm allowed to, no, the only way that I'm ever going to overcome the prohibition to life, like prohibition to my life, that sounds really weird. Like I feel like there's something about like my life account, let's call it. Let's look at it from like the Gnostic model of reality, where all humans are not really supposed to escape because this is the world of the demiurge, and there are archons who recycle souls. And so then it's like this completely dystopian model of reality where it would make sense to speak of people like life accounts and not like persons. You feel me? And so like I feel like the only way for me to escape like the ban on my life account, like, is to figure out the spiritual tech, like the invisible energy, the invisible life reality tech, like a fucking engineer, in order to construct for myself something new that will just simply not like even like override the codes of like block this life. She will be Sisyphus eternally. She will do all these things. She'll be beautiful. She'll be nice. People will say that they like her. I'm saying the beautiful thing because I was at the gig yesterday and people are like, oh my God, you're like, I'm sorry this sound. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just saying, like, you're an otherworldly beauty. And I'm like, thanks. I can't tell if you're doing this to flatter me, because there's this thing that I keep noticing with you guys in the world, like, ever since like 2020, like there was like a shift of like humans off the planet, and like something else happened. I have a lot of content that I need to actually like externalize into this channel, because although I don't think I'm like, there's this thing I have inside that's like, no one cares about this shit that you have to say. I'm like, yeah, but I do have it, like, and I need to externalize it because I need to have like a library of the content of my mind, because it's beneficial for me at the very least to have it all like be kind of like projected onto like when you externalize your thoughts, there's like a space that opens up in your mind, in your like in like the real state of your consciousness. It's not all just like backed up in there. And then like when you externalize it, there's this feeling of like, especially when there's anyone like slightly interacting with your like zone of creation. I don't know what to call it, like my channel, like with my like space where I like express myself. If anyone's interacting with it slightly, there's this feeling of like the world is participating with me, and I'm not just in an isolation chamber my whole life. Although I'm around people, I'm just in an isolation chamber that's also like a torture chamber. You feel me? And there's like a ban on my life. There's like a nothing that she does will ever work out, no matter how much she tries. Like it will never work out, even if it's as simple as if someone shows up to give her an opportunity, she will find a way to like not go through with it, because like that's what we're doing to her. Like if we just take the Gnostic Archon model of reality, that just makes so much sense, in the sense of like it feels like it's not even sense. It's like, oh yeah, it's like obviously I don't like that, but it's like, oh, like I don't have to fight this concept of like it's all up to you. You're the one. Like you just have to fucking find a way. I'm like, I swear, like anytime that I get close to things working out, everything crashes and burns around me to be like, no, she will not make it. You know. And so I'm like, the only way that I'm gonna make it, my whole life I felt this way, is that I figure out like spiritual power, because they won't let me, whoever the fuck they are. You feel me? And so once again, this whole like Gnostic model of reality is just like, it's not soothing to me, but it's like, are there people who like take this shit seriously? I know there's billions that do the Judeo-Christian Abrahamic religions way, and it's total fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, bitch. Like, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. But it's just like, it's just